The house itself apparently contains an altar, and from different reports, when people come to visit, they're supposed to place items on the altar as offerings. The offerings may be items such as weed, sage, and flash figurines.
That is so fucked up. It's fucked up. So fucked up. It is just so damn fucked up. That's fucked up.
You are quite close to God today with that hair. I mean, it's out of frame.
The higher the hair, the closer to God. That's what they say. And this is no hair product. Are you jealous? These bangs, they go 2 inches into the air on their own.
If it was 1992, I would have been so jealous of those bangs.
What's stupid is in 92, when this kind of hair was cool, is I was a child and my hair was like long and straight and beautiful.
Oh.
Isn't that just how it fucking goes? Speaking of my hair being long and beautiful when I was a child, I had this vision of me in my head. I had a certain picture pop into my head. God damn, I was fucking cute. I'm wearing like a little coconut bra and a Hawaiian skirt, and I'm like doing the hula on my porch.
Aww.
And that actually, it's just funny because today we're talking about Ezra Miller, and I feel like Ezra Miller goes to Hawaii for a while, which is like crazy cult leaders. Can you stop going to Hawaii and then being like, oh shit, yeah, or being somewhere else and being like, oh, Hawaii is where I'm going to go. I'm just thinking like the leader of Buddha Field, Amy Carlson, this motherfucker. The Twin Flames homie, Jeff, he went to Hawaii and was like, I'm going to become a cult leader. Everybody fucking pieces out over to Hawaii when, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Oh my God. No, it's like really a fucking pattern. People in cults go to Hawaii a lot.
It's
And
a thing.
Stop it. You fucking white assholes. Stop it. I'm white too. I'm white as hell, but like at least I was born there. Like stop doing your shenanigans on the islands. Fucking keep it in the desert in Utah. Anyways, whatever. You know what? Utah's cool. Probably some parts of it. Anyways, what's up, you guys? Welcome back.
That was sort of what our topic was about. Welcome back to the podcast.
This is That's So Fucked Up, a podcast about cults, crime, and other things that make you say, ugh. That's so fucked up.
I thought you were waiting for me.
Well, we could have said it in tandem. I mean, it's Friday. It's wacky Friday. I don't know what is it's fucked up Friday.
Fuck it Friday.
Fuck it Friday. Fucked up Friday. Really?
Right.
Happy fucked up Friday, everybody. So yeah, we're your hosts. I'm Ashley Love Richards.
Do you have a question about that?
No, that's who I am.
Ron Burgundy?
Yeah. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Sorry, I put a question mark on her teleprompter. And I'm Fallon Morey.
And hi, guys. Yeah, today we are talking about Ezra Miller, and Fallon is going to cover Ezra Miller because, well, she didn't really know why until I told her
Today.
Because as you guys know, I've been down my like weird Hollyweird kick lately and just like examining abuses of power. And obviously everybody knows about the fucking Nickelodeon scandal, and we've all seen Baby Reindeer. I'm sure by now we've all seen Baby Reindeer.
Right.
All of us. We've all seen Baby Reindeer.
You so set me up for this. No, I have not seen Baby Reindeer.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you don't understand what you're talking about today. No, but the thing is, it's just like people in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry. I mean, I think this is all kind of been well known for a while, but I just think it's getting a lot more exposed now. Like the abuses that go on in the entertainment industry. Hey, have you heard about Diddy? You know, he's like a fucking crazy abuser, essayer, sex trafficker, like beat the fuck out of and sexually abused Cassie Ventura. Me and you. Yeah, like Fuck
on
Diddy.
camera, and then as they're looking into him, now there's at like usual stuff coming up.
Yeah, so I've been very interested lately in the abuses of power that go on in the entertainment industry in particular that just allow people to insanely behave and then be like, I'm going to get $1 billion movie role, though. Oh, sure, I like to groom kids and, I like to fucking assault people physically, like everywhere I go, but give me millions of dollars. And they're like, okay, I wish I could do that. I mean, I don't, because I don't want to be I don't want to groom I just wish that I could, I wish that people who acted good, I wish that karma was like real and that good people had good things happen to them and that people who were bad, at least in this life, had bad things happen to them. But it seems like a lot of the times really bad people get really good stuff.
This is super timely because I was just checking my facts, but Harvey Weinstein's conviction was overturned recently.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's cute.
Based
there was
on
so much lack of evidence, I think,
Well, it's really stupid. Basically, it's like based on something about, and I don't fully understand it because I'm not a lawyer, but essentially,
wait, what?
At the stop it.
You've been lying?
So at his trial, they brought up past incidents related to what he had done, which, for many people was like establishing character for him because the trial is supposed to be about like whatever incident you're being tried for, not everything you've ever done that you haven't been actually like at trial for. But now they're scrambling, I guess, to try to rewrite or repass laws that allow you to bring up past incidents during trials against defendants like him. So I guess the way it's written, and somebody out there with legal knowledge can clean us up, but basically, if they're able to pass this specific law or like amendment to this law, he could go back to trial and new accusers could be able to come forward against him to like establish, like, you're not supposed to be able, I guess, to just be like, well, this guy is a bad guy from the beginning of the trial because it like,
no, I know.
yeah,
it's like
it's really
in a murder
weird
case against, like, sometimes in murder cases or violent criminal convictions, they can't bring up a history of violence.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, it didn't tie to this one incident. It's like,
right.
But it does show that that's what they've fucking been doing as a pattern, like, forever.
Right. And his case, to me, is the one that really kicks the lid off the whole, how bad is it really? And obviously, his case started the Me Too movement. And so I bring that up because I think talking about this individual today is another one of those things that ties right in.
Didn't Bill Cosby also get, like, his conviction overturned or something?
I don't know.
Wait, am I pulling that out of my ass? Because I feel like we had like a step back in justice with that as well. But I might be making that up.
Cosby was released from a Pennsylvania prison after the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania vacated his 2018 conviction on sexual assault charges. He was sentenced to 10 years in a state prison. But yes, it looks like in 2021, they let him out of prison because they thought that there was a violation of his due process rights when he was charging.
I'm going to burn everything down, Fallon.
I know.
I'm gonna burn it all. I don't know what to do with my hands. There's so much rage in them. I feel like if I could be a witch and like put some spells out of them, that would be really cool. But instead, I'm just gonna put them on my face.
That's what you look like you're about to do, is cast some spells out of them.
I want to.
Not on me.
Not at you. I just want them all to burn. Just to like individually, what is it called? Self-combust?
Yeah.
Like, I hope Bill
combustion.
Cosby and fucking Harvey Weinstein and all these fucks, I hope they're just all like sitting there in a chair and then all of a sudden like somebody turns around and is like, hey, Jared. And it's just like a little pile of dust. I could be talking about Jared Leto, Jared the Subway guy. Burn all the Jareds, Not all of them. I'm just saying we've talked to a lot of people that I think could get the self-combustion treatment and I'd be okay.
I have a family member named Jared and he is awesome.
Is he the one who listens to the show?
No, that's my brother. But I think Jared's mom listens to the show.
I feel like I talked shit on your uncle or something.
You did. You talked shit on my uncle, and he thought it was amazing because you were like, just be careful, and because he mimicked Harold the doll.
Oh, I was like, I stand by the fact that we thought that was a sketchy decision on his part.
I was like, Uncle Bill, you're podcast famous. It's hilarious, but really just make better life choices.
What's up, Robert?
Anyway,
Robert.
So here we are,
Robert.
about to talk about Ezra Miller.
Yes. Who's just one of the many people out there making it lame as hell in Hollywood.
Lame as hell. So
to put it lightly.
Please note, Ezra Miller did come out and said that they use they, them pronouns in 2022, but in some of their roles, the characters they play are male. So if we refer to them as male as that character, it's because the character was male. I just want to put that out there.
So we know that Ezra plays the Flash in today's movies, not the old shows, obviously.
Right.
And the Flash is a male character.
Yes,
right?
and the Flash is a male character.
Okay.
So if we say him during describing one of their roles, it's because it is a male character, a male identified character.
Awesome clarification. Thank you.
I just wanted to do that up front so we didn't have to say it 10 times when we're talking about their roles. So
that's good.
Yeah. They were born in September of 1992 in New Jersey. They identify as both Jewish and spiritual. They came out as queer in 2012, and then later they said they avoid the label queer. They really don't like it, but that they do prefer they, them pronouns as of 2022.
Yeah. And I guess, I hope this is obvious to everybody, but for any new listeners or whatever, none of our beef with Ezra Miller has anything at all whatsoever to do with their gender identity or their sexuality. No. We don't give a shit. Like, as long as they're fucking of age.
Right.
Which is not something that Ezra is known for really following the fucking rules about.
Right.
But I think we should make it very clear that it's, because that is a big part of their identity that's talked about in the public.
Right. They're very different things. Somebody's gender identity and the fact that the person engages in super dangerous, destructive to themselves and others behavior. That is the reason why.
Exactly. So we don't want...
Let's be clear.
Those aren't intertwined at all.
No.
So just as if we talk about a fucking cult that is of another nationality, like we're not hating on any other culture. Like it's, we're specifically looking at that person who is a leader of that cult and they happen to be X, Y, or Z. And so it's always just connected to the bad things that they're doing. Thank you.
Right.
Good. Cool.
So Ezra does have two older sisters named Saya, I hope I'm saying that right, and Caitlin or Kaiten. Their mother, Marta, is a modern dancer, and father, Robert, is a book publisher. And interestingly enough, I did not know this before looking into this case. They started performing as an opera singer when they were younger to overcome a speech impediment they had. So to help get over that, which I find fascinating. And many would agree. I've seen them in a few roles and they are a great actor. They got tons of accolades from many people in publications out there. I read one article that said that they were kind of sad to see Ezra start to go through all of this, and because they burned so brightly at the beginning of their career that it was like, we want that back, right? Like that good actor back. So
you know what, though? There is something I've also been looking into called the Toddler to Trainwreck pipeline, about how child stars essentially are just like destined to become like fucking drug addicts and all this stuff. Like, so when did they become involved in the entertainment industry? Because that could actually have something to do with it.
Their film debut was in 2008 at just 15 years old.
Yeah, so I think it's important for people to understand from what we've been hearing from all the fucking Nickelodeon stars, and probably Disney kids are going to come out soon too, and it's all going to start falling apart. But yeah, this one child actress, I watched a YouTube video she did where she explains it really well, how she's describing being 10 years old or something and being in a fucking casting office and having to depict a a scene of her getting abducted and essayed or something, and she's a child. Then she has to go to another audition where she has to try to like smile and sell a fucking pony, and mom and dad are hoping that she's going to pay the rent that month. So I think it's something really interesting to look at, that people who get into the entertainment industry at a young age are like often set up for failure. I mean, just look at Lindsay Lohan. She's just the most fucking, it's the first name that, I'm sorry, Lindsay, I'm sure that comes to a lot of people's mind. But just look at so many fucking child stars where they end up, you know?
Well, think about, you know, how I know people my age and always say, thank God that we didn't have cell phones and all that stuff to capture all our embarrassing moments in junior high and high school and elementary school on camera, because the current generation really has it tough. But child stars never have the opportunity to not be captured on camera. And I'm sure that's tough if literally every horrible moment of your childhood, adolescence, every mistake you make, every bad day you have is just on a microscope and broadcast your whole life.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like Amanda Bynes, since she's like fucking 12 years old, every move she has made has been watched and scrutinized and then fucking analyzed by every fucking armchair psychologist on the internet.
And I love Amanda Bynes. And now she's actually trying to just recapture, it seems like, a little bit of her own agency. And so she said that she, I guess, had gotten certified to do nails or something, and so she's going to start being a business, being a manicurist. Me too.
She is.
and she responds to people who talk to her on her comments, and she
that
just
nail
like
salon is going to be popping as fuck.
I know. I want to go because I love Amanda Bynes.
Probably going to be. She's going to have a wait list like no other.
For sure.
Good for her.
So anyway, I'm going to go through a little bit of Ezra's filmography because there were some pretty cool films that they did in there, and some that I learned about while researching that now I really want to watch. Like this first one was their film debut, and it was called After School. It came out in 2008. It was a psychological drama, and it's about a prep school student that accidentally films the drug-related deaths of two of his classmates and asked to put together a memorial video. And I don't want to do spoilers for people if you haven't seen the movie.
I'm like, that does sound interesting. Don't spoil too much.
I know. And there's like a pretty cool ending. But overall, the kid in the movie, the character in the movie, has some psychological problems, obviously. And I guess it's kind of one of those like sort of slow burner sort of thrillers. But it got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. And
by the audience or the critics? That's very important, Fallon.
I don't know.
I'm going to check. What's it called?
After School, all one word.
2008 film. Okay, you guys, and I'm going to explain to both of Fallon and the audience why it's important. Because the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, is usually more indicative of what the general public feel. And the critic score is always some bougie fucking artsy bullshit. So I just got to say, this one, 80% from the critics, 48% from the audience.
Really? Interesting. Well, I still want to watch it because the premise sounds interesting.
Yeah, I just do think, let me know. I think I always think it's very interesting because I will go read the audience reviews and read the critics' reviews. And the critics would be like, well, it's a message on, the depths of societal norms for boys of a certain school age. And people are just like, that was 3.5 hours and I couldn't stand any of it because the acting was bad. I trust that more.
Yeah, I saw a movie with my family and it had been put out there as this like super scary thriller, and it had, God, I forget who it had in it, but all these people that were saying, give it like this tour, my favorite one is a tour de force performance,
Yeah.
right? And it was like biggest snoozer ever. We got 65 minutes into it and we're like, and we all turn it off and we're like, does anybody care how this ends? Great, I'm going to bed. No. Okay, we're fine. And I was like, hey, quick, let me look up the ending online for us and I'll read it to everyone. And we were like, oh yeah, okay, that wouldn't have been worth it anyway. Night.
More like a tour de flop.
Wait, I got a better one. More like a bore de force.
A bore to flip. Anyway,
I
killed it. Keep going.
This movie is notable because afterward they dropped out of high school to, at the age of 16, to start pursuing acting full time.
Oh my God. Sorry. That's just another red flag. Okay. So I've heard that a lot of kids are encouraged by like their manager or whatever to get emancipated so that they don't have to do like labor laws anymore. I know that's not what you said. But it just reminded me of that because a lot of times if the vultures in Hollywood see a kid that's like mad fucking talent, they're like, you don't need to go to school. That's for dummies. You're going to be famous. So probably emancipate yourself too so that at the age of 15, you can start working 90 hours a week.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That happens a lot.
So they were in a couple other films. I'm not going to go into all of them. There was one notable movie called Beware of Gonzo in 2010 where they played the lead and the character started some sort of underground newspaper was the plot. But at the premiere of this movie, they got some notoriety because they were spotted with Zoe Kravitz. At the time, Ezra was 17 and Zoe was 22. So I guess it was much talked about and sort of put Ezra in the spotlight a little more.
So you guys aren't seeing my face, but
5-year difference is not my favorite.
I'm so fucking by the books that until you are 18, you're a child. Once you're 18, in my mind, they are a child. And woof, sorry, whoa. That is not, okay, 21, 22 versus 17.
Yeah.
Versus 17. A 22-year-old woman who is also very young, you know?
Yeah.
But she's 5 years older than this young person. We know that people who are born biologically male, isn't it like scientifically proven that they mentally develop slower? Maturity wise or whatever? Or is that just like something that I've been told my whole life? Like, oh, boys are a few years behind girls. They always say that, right?
It's a common myth, I think. Certain skill, it's just a matchup of skills. Like boys might reach sexual maturity faster, but girls might reach their max height faster, and they might be better at certain. It's kind of a toss up.
Well, I think girls kind of generally mature emotionally more quickly, right? Or no, I don't know. Whatever. Regardless, nobody over the age of 18 should be with anyone under the age of 18 ever. So it's weird that in other places she would get arrested, but in Hollywood, it's like, ooh, look at how cute and cool this is.
Right. And before anybody jumps on us, imagine that you have a child that is a junior in high school and they come home with somebody old enough to have graduated college.
And who can buy them beer.
Right. Are you comfortable with that?
Such a fucking hard no for me. I don't know. I think it's as someone who was definitely taken advantage of by older people when I was younger.
Yeah.
I just like, I look at that shit and I'm like, no, you be an adult and don't fuck children. If there's a teen in your age, I don't care if it's 13 or 19. Well, 19, it's a little bit different, but still, you're a teenager, bro. It's
right. And similarly, like, I think it could be said for a lot of age pairings. Like, I was 22 or 23 when I was pursued by someone 10 years older. And then I was in a horrible relationship with that person because they had this age on me, right? And there was a lot of that. I know how to do this, like, controlling shit because I'm 10 years older than you. And looking back, I'm like, okay, if this had happened earlier, that's a horrible age gap.
Well, it does change. Like my boyfriend's 11 years older than me. I'm 35. He's 46.
Yeah.
Is he 47? I'm about to be 36. I don't really know. We're around those ages. But like I'm a grown-ass adult with like a fully formed brain who's gone through like way more life experience than I care to.
Same.
So he's not taking advantage of me. Like I'm grown. I'm mentally mature. But when you're in your early 20s and somebody else has had 10 extra years life experience. Yeah. So I think you made a good point. It's like we're not throwing out a big judgment about age gap relationships, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a 22-year-old openly dating a minor and Hollywood and the paparazzi being and everybody reading the magazine going, oh, cute. Ooh, wow. Ezra Miller's really up and coming, huh? If the Kravitz gal is hanging out with them, it's like, no, she's being creepy and somebody should protect Ezra in that case.
Right.
I just find it interesting that often, I don't find it interesting. It's sad that often when I guess I'm digging so deeply into this because we know that later Ezra will have a lot of sexual grooming and sexual allegations against them. So to know that like they had to mature way too fast and then they were being pursued by older people inappropriately, and that was happening in the open.
It was modeled for them.
Exactly. So it's not taking away responsibility.
No. But everyone around them was telling them, this is okay.
This is great. Good for you guys.
This is a good sign.
Uh-huh.
Right.
This means you're successful. It's bad messaging.
The movie I first saw them in was called We Need to Talk About Kevin and was released in 2011. I was on an airplane, I think, coming back from Japan one time, and I got to the ending and was like, ah! But it's a pretty intense movie or book. But the movie is based on the 2003 novel and follows the story of a mother who has to come to terms with the fact that her son, Kevin, committed an atrocity at his school. I'm not going to talk more about it in case you want to see it or read it.
It's a crazy movie.
Ezra plays the teenage son, Kevin, in the movie. The interesting thing behind this movie is that it sort of begs the question about what is the parent's role versus what is the child's role, and can a child be born evil? Because the way that they describe Kevin in the book and the movie from the mother's perspective is Kevin was evil since birth, right?
Right.
It's such a fascinating movie, but Ezra was amazing in the movie. Super good.
Trigger warning, though. It is.
Oof, it's rough.
It's fucking gnarly. It is good, though.
They were in the film Perks of Being a Wallflower in 2012, which was another really popular movie.
Also, the Stanford Prison Experiment.
And the Stanford Prison Experiment in 2015. I was going to say that one next.
Sorry, I couldn't.
No, it's okay.
I'm looking.
I know. I was waiting for you to hear that and get excited, which was based on, we've talked about it on this podcast. I would go back and listen to our psychotic psychology episodes. The movie was based on the 1971 Stanford Prison Experiments that happened on college students. Ezra plays Daniel Culp, who was prisoner 8612, the prisoner who had a mental breakdown and had to quit the experiment.
They were also in Trainwreck, which is a hilarious movie.
Yes.
By Amy
Schumer.
Amy Schumer. They have a really funny role in it.
Yeah. And so this is another spot where I should have mentioned Trainwreck, because Ezra plays a character named Donald at the company that Amy Schumer works for. And the character of that Amy Schumer plays, Amy, hooks up with the intern one night, which is kind of creepy because I think the character was still in high school in the movie or early in college. And she's like a grown-ass
she's in
woman.
her 30s.
Yeah.
And he is definitely like in his early 20s
or younger.
Max. Well, he still lives at home with his parents, actually, I just realized, which you could totally be. I was definitely living at home in college. But yeah, he's definitely younger and getting physical with a woman in her. God, Hollywood is so gross, you guys. I'm turning full evangelical. Okay, you guys, I'm walking away from the secular world. It's evil.
I'm going to be in the world, not of it
anymore, you guys. It's crazy. I just want to really quick, God, this like touches on so many things, is cancel culture. It needs to be said that I think cancel culture absolutely needs to be in place. It's necessary, but I think it needs to be done on like a case-by-case basis. It can't be like, I don't know, I'm never going to listen to a fucking Puff Daddy song again because that motherfucker is an insane S-air trafficker on video, proven to be a terrible fucking person. Canceled all fucking day. Lock him up, throw away, never say his name again.
Absolutely. Because you don't want to support the person, the message. And the thing that makes me want to quote unquote cancel is when I start to think about the people that individual was hurting at the time that art was produced or that movie came out, and think, can I really watch this person on screen knowing or listen to the song knowing that he goes home from a recording session and beats his girlfriend up. And like,
Right.
no, I can't. I'll never look at that the same way again.
Yeah. And I wanted to bring that up because obviously we're talking about Ezra's body of work and saying, oh, this movie was good and that movie was good. And sometimes depending on who the fuck is in it or who produced it, I'm like, I'm not watching that fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bringing that up just because I don't know a ton about Ezra Miller. I do know that the allegations against them are not... I'm making my decision to never support... I'm going to call him Puff Daddy because he's a fucking asshole and that's a stupid name. I know what he did and therefore I will never co-sign a piece of his, quote, art again. Until I hear Ezra Miller's full story, I'm not going to judge whether or not I'm going to never again watch any movie they were in. Based on knowing that you and I have similar kind of cancel culture based on case-by-case basis and severity of the crime. Not to say that any grooming or stuff that they've been alleged of is not a super severe crime. It's just saying there are certain individuals that we are absolutely sure that they have done terrible fucking horrific things and therefore them as individual artists should never be supported again. It's a little bit harder to say, hey, don't watch the fucking Fantastic Beasts of Griswold or whatever that also has an amazing other cast and directors and all these cool... I don't know the name. I can't see it.
You're not
It's
supposed
little.
to see it.
Grindelwald, whatever. It's like, I'm not going to right now make a blanket statement that I'm never going to watch that because Ezra Miller's in it. Not only because A, I don't know enough yet, but B, for me, it's easier to cancel like a stand-up comedian or a musician or somebody who works solo versus somebody who then is like on a movie or show and you're like, okay, do I have to cancel everybody else now? It's a whole thing.
The place where many might recognize Ezra from is that they were cast to play Barry Allen, who is the street name of the Flash character. If you're not familiar with this series, the Flash is the fastest person in the world. I'm sure that there's different comic book interpretations, but standard comic book story, they are scientifically altered in some way. Story. Barry Allen develops super speed and can solve a number of crimes simply by doing things fast. Crimes and problems and superhero stuff. So
that sounds like a pretty lame superpower, to be honest.
That's what I thought, but I used to love the show The Flash, where Grant Gustin played Barry Allen. It was on CW, I think, for 4 or 5 seasons, and it was pretty awesome because there's a lot of things you don't think about that they can do that, like with speed, that help the situation. But anyway,
I could clean my house and stuff like super quick. That'd be cool.
Ezra plays Barry Allen. The character appeared first in Batman versus Superman in 2016, Suicide Squad in 2016, and Justice League in 2017, and then The Flash, the movie, was released in 2023.
Which is far after the problematic allegations have started, right?
Yeah. There were a lot of problematic behaviors, but the articles that I read noted that it really started to kind of hit the fan around like 2020, sometimes before that as well. But there was a lot noted around that time frame.
So by the time The Flash came out in 2023, the person who is the fucking star of this movie is now either alleged or accused of, or actually has been confirmed to just be like going around and just treating people terribly, like beating up strangers in public and shit.
Correct. Ezra had some problematic behavior starting, I believe it was around 2020. And from the articles I found, there were a couple of things that might have precipitated it, which we'll get into later. But one article suggested that when they found out that their parents were divorcing around 2019, that was a real issue for them. The big behaviors were noticed after that, but we're getting there. The last thing I'll mention is while Ezra has been on a number of TV shows where they've played significant roles, multiple seasons on different shows like Californication, Law and Order, Arrow. They were part of the Stand miniseries in 2020 based on the Stephen King novel The Stand. Ezra plays a character named Trash Can Man, who, if you have not read the book, basically is good at blowing things up and is kind of saved from dying in prison during the global plague by the super bad guy in the book and becomes one of his right-hand minions, essentially. During this filming, complaints were made about Ezra while the filming was ongoing. People were told that Ezra was simply method acting because he was playing a bad guy, but people on set were not feeling safe around them. So I'm sorry, because they were playing a bad guy. People on set were not feeling safe around them, and so things got so bad that the producers had to make calls to their legal team to try to calm it down.
Yeah, if method acting is being taken to the point where people around you are legitimately feeling unsafe, probably being taken a little too far.
Right.
Jared Leto.
I want to back up a little and talk about the mountain, which is where Ezra has lived essentially since 2017. They christened this giant farm in Stamford, Connecticut, the Mountain.
And sounds like a cult already.
Right. If it starts with a capital T, capital M, it's a cult compound.
Mm-hmm.
Even more in a minute, you'll see. It is a 96-acre farm that used to be an alpaca and llama farm. And it has basically like a very tiny house on it. A bunch of different types of crops grow there, like apple and blueberry orchards. Goats wander around. So real like idyllic.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah, farmstead type of place. The house itself apparently contains an altar. And from different reports, when people come to visit, they're supposed to place items on the altar as offerings. The offerings may be items such as weed, sage, and flash figurines.
I'm sorry. So are the offerings for Ezra?
Yes, I believe the offerings are for Ezra.
I'm going to start having an offering altar at my house. What's up, guys? Come on in. I require a gift upon arrival. You can leave it there. Thank you.
The interesting part is when the offerings become mandatory. So Miller has been known to ask women to place their phones on it as offerings.
Wait, why just women?
According to a Vanity Fair article, Miller demanded once that Susan Sarandon pay tribute to the altar when she visited Ezra's home because she had neglected at some point to invite them to a dinner party.
No way fucking Susan Sarandon did, though. I don't believe it. Not Susan.
Ezra used to have friends come over to the mountain on frequent occasion, and one of the articles reported that it was kind of a small, modest house on the property, but nobody cared. They were actually very generous. They would supply weed and drinks for their friends. They would all smoke together. They would play Call of Duty till the middle of the night. In 2017, we're talking about a, mid-20s person at this point, right? Someone in their mid-20s, 25.
Yeah, they're 31 now.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know how to do math at all, then
yeah.
yes.
And what the articles indicate is basically like staying with Ezra meant having to endure them occasionally doing long monologues and talking about crazy shit.
Hey, that's Hollywood, baby.
In around 2018, Ezra came out as non-binary and polyamorous. Polyamorous meaning having multiple partners. They told Playboy in an interview that the environment that they were creating for themselves was called a polycule. I'll define what polycule means because Ezra told everyone that they created this environment they were calling a polycule. Maybe it's used in other circles. I don't know, but it's kind of a mashup of polyamorous and molecule. According to the people in their inner circle, they describe it as really less of a democratic society around Ezra and more of like a constantly shifting harem of young women for them.
Don't like that.
No.
At all.
It's a relationship where Ezra not as the male figure in the relationship, that's how they're establishing themselves, basically controls all the aspects of the relationship.
So I feel like you're just like 1000% describing a cult right now in which they are the leader.
Exactly. And
right?
it's one of those things where people don't recognize, I think, in general, that relationships can become cults, whether it's a relationship with two people or a relationship with like this, like a polyamorous relationship. 100% a cult could be two people. And in this case, I think what they're doing is just using a fancy word for, look at this super evolved situation I've set up for myself. But really, I'm the leader of a cult of women who I demand to have sex with, and I scream at them in front of the others to let them know what their place is in relation to me.
So I think that they're confusing a fundamentalist polygamous relationship with polyamory, because in polyamory, like in an ethical polygamous or polyamorous relationship, you and I could date Fallon and I could date my boyfriend, and you could be married to your husband and your husband could be dating my boyfriend if they wanted, like as long as we're all cool with that.
Right.
Then that can happen.
And I think my husband would be down for all of that except him dating Martin.
He's like, that's where
you lost me.
I'm done with the situation at that point. But generally in polygamous relationships, whether or not they're religious,
right?
Because some people do practice polygamy where there's like one man with multiple wives and they don't practice it in a religious sense. And most definitely if there's religion involved, it seems. I watch this show called, listen, you guys, it's going to come out on another episode. I still watch a little bit of TLC sometimes on the DL. I'm a terrible person. Okay. I know. I feel horrible. But you guys, I watch Seeking Sister Wife because I'm just fascinated by these dynamics. And I just found out that one of the couples in Seeking Sister Wife, the chick is Tony Alamo's daughter of the Tony Alamo Christian Ministries that like famously were insanely abusive.
Wow.
To like women and children,
right.
A lot of sexual abuse, labor trafficking, insane physical abuse. Becky Cunine, who's going by Becky Johnson or some shit, is on that show. And even after her stepdad, Tony Alamo, died, she stood up for him and was like, no, he didn't. He was great. Those victims are liars. And TLC has gone ahead and been awesome as they usually are and platformed this fucking woman and her husband. Anyways, the point being is that I know kind of like about people who practice polygamy in a non-religious sense from watching that show. And there does generally seem to be a sense of hierarchy, even if it's not religion. Right. The man is like, sure, they, quote unquote, they make decisions together and whatever, but man is the head of household, very much like conservative Christianity, right. Top dog. He's got the dong, so he's got the power. Right. Point being, they're calling this polyamory, and it's like not dangerous polygamy, if anything, kind of.
Right. And not to say, because Miller is non-binary, I would say they're taking the role of the top of the hierarchy in this sort of polygamous relationship. And then they have a circle of women that they routinely either treat badly in front of people and they scream at them. Sometimes they'll do things like abandon them when they're out somewhere, not worry about them getting back, and they control basically all of the sexual aspects as well, like who I'm having sex with today.
I'm guessing they're not all of age.
Probably not. And we're going to get into a little bit some of their primary like partners that this has become an issue with in terms of the grooming and the ages. So we're still talking a little bit about what happens at the mountain. In June of 2022, it was revealed that Miller had a mother and her 3 children living on the farm, and the children were ranged in age from 1 to 5 years old. The father of the children became concerned about their safety because it was pretty common knowledge that the farm was not safe for anybody, let alone children. It was a mess. There was frequent marijuana use and drinking. There were guns laying around everywhere. They found assault rifles propped up on piles of stuffed animals.
Oh my God.
It seems that Ezra has a little bit of a gun obsession. They seem to pull them out wherever they go. So there's guns everywhere. There was reports of Ezra blowing smoke into the babies' faces, which pisses me the fuck off.
I am sorry. Did you just say that this motherfucker is getting babies high?
Blowing smoke in babies' faces.
That is really marijuana smoke?
I'm going to guess yes, but it wasn't specific, just smoke. Either way, it sucks because it's a baby.
Insane.
And then one child at some point had picked up a bullet off the ground and put it in their mouth. That's the level of danger we're talking about here. So the police were notified. They came to pick up the children. They had several attempts, I guess, out at the house, but they didn't find the mom and the kids anywhere. Ezra kept stating that the mom and kids didn't live there, despite the social media presence that the mother had up showing that she lived there with her children. The mother claimed that Ezra had helped her out of an abusive home life that she was fleeing, and that she had lived there with them because they were safe. However, this was a healing and safe space. So after that, the mother took the children, and the last I read in an article, there was going to be a custody hearing with the father in Hawaii, because I believe that the mother and the children and the dad all were living in Hawaii before they came to live with Ezra.
See? Hawaii connections.
Bum 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 bum. That's fucked up. So fucked up. Can't you see? It's just really fucked. That's fucked up.